Good morning, everyone. I'm the First Lieutenant Javier Garcia Sanchez. I'm from Spain. I'm in the Spanish Air Force. My destination, my first job is in Las Palmas, in Canary Island. I joined in the 462 Squadron, fighter squadron, in which we fly the F-18 Hornet. I'm here for about 5 years or so, and I'm glad to meet you and answer any questions you have.
No, well, thanks for joining us, Javier. So, when did you first become interested in aviation?
Well, I became interested in aviation, I think, when I was a child. When I saw the airplanes flying in the sky, I thought, wow, I have to drive one things that fly. And in fact, today, when I go to my home and I exit the airbase, which is near of the airport, I see the airplanes every day taking off and landing, and I keep this fascination of these beautiful machines that fly. I suppose that these fascinations become when I was a child. I joined the Air Force in 2011 when I was 19 years old. That were my second chance to join the Air Force because the process for joining the Air Force now consists in to get some exams that these exams are the same exams that one person needs to apply for a university. And when we achieve this mark, we put this mark in this selection process of the Air Force, and we are graded by our marks. In addition, we have to pass English exams, medical exams, physical condition exam. In which medical and physical condition exams are more exhaustive for the Air Force because of the hygiene, the capacity of breathing, or the skeleton. They are more exhaustive exams for if you apply to Air Force. And well, in my second chance for joining, I achieved one place to start in the Air Force Academy. The Air Force Academy is in Murcia, in the southwest coast of Spain, in which there is quite good weather for flying, for practicing flying. This airbase is joined with the civilian airport, like here in Las Palmas. And first of all, when I joined in 2000, the 1st of September of 2011, we have 1 month of drill instruction in order to learn how to be a military. First of all, inside the academy, we study an engineering. Is like industrial engineering, a kind of industrial engineering here. It lasts about 5 years to finish this engineering. And the first 2 years we only study the military aspect of becoming only military and the civilian engineering grade. Only study that in the first 2 years. In the third year, we start flying, like I said to you in the email. we start flying the Pillan, like we know here. It's a single propeller aircraft. It's a Chilean made aircraft that we bought about 30 years or so ago. And we only started learning flying, visual flying, visual navigation, basically the basics of flying, visual navigation, aerobatics, and close formation flying. Where its course should last about 4 months, the half of the academic course. And the second half academic course, we continue studying and finishing our engineering grade. In 4 years, we continue flying the C-101. In this case, it's a jet, a Spanish-made jet by CASA. It's like I said to you, it's the same plane that fly the Spanish aerobatic team, Turia Aguila. And we fly this aircraft all the fourth year of the fourth course. We continue practicing formation flying, aerobatics, visual flying, and also we start to learn instrumental flying. It's a quite interesting flying.
Wow. Yes. After that, you luckily apply for the 23rd wing. Could you tell us about that?
It's our last year in formation course of this 5 years formation course. This year, like I've said before, we only are 10 pilots for this course. And a part of flying, we have to make our final project in order to present it in our academy when we finish the course, the project for the industrial engineering. If this course is hard, imagine when you have to do this kind of project, you have to take a lot of coordinations with the teacher, with the professors of the university, via email, Skype, and the distance is a handicap in order to achieve this kind of project. And the life here, the life there in the 23rd wing. We had the general briefing at 7:30, I remember, and we start flying in 2 periods. It depends of the day. You fly first period at the very first part of the morning, or the second period in about the half of the day, at 12 o'clock or so. If we need to make more flying lessons, we used the third period in an exclusive period to fly in the evening and take advantage of this time. The weather in Badajoz were quite nice in summer and spring, but sometimes we had a very foggy weather in winter that makes the flying lessons very difficult. We have to fly in instrumental conditions when we are only student pilots, and again taking the decision to fly a formation approach to recover the 2 aircraft when the mission finished. We have these three periods of flying. Between the periods of flying, we have the simulator lessons. We have a quite good simulator of the F5 with the midlife upgrade in the cabin. We learn the phases of the air-to-air combat and air-to-air combat switchology in this simulator, and we practice instrumental flying too. And it's about 30 or 40 simulator lessons.
Brilliant.
That complements the flying lesson.
I want to talk about the F-18. What is it like on that first takeoff?
Wow. This aircraft is the first aircraft that we fly with the FCS, flight control computer. And the touch of the stick and the throttle are quite different. Practically in this aircraft, you put the throttles to max afterburner, and the plane took off automatically, practically automatically. The flying control surfaces works properly when we accelerate in the runway, and we only to make a little movement in the stick, and the airplane took off.
You go.
And yes, yeah, I got the airplane in the air. It's quite easy. It's a quite easy takeoff in comparison of the aircraft that I flew before, the C-101 or the F-5. The F-5, if it was.
It's a great aircraft.
Quite difficult to control because of the smaller wings.
Yeah.
This aircraft have bigger wings, bigger control surfaces, and it's quite easy to fly this aircraft.
So can you tell us, was it really difficult coming from the F5 cockpit to the F-18 with all the glass cockpits?
Yeah, the F5 suffered the midlife upgrade about 10 or 12 years. The F5, when we bought the F5, they have analog gauges, analog clocks, and in the midlife upgrade we put a glass cockpit, two screens, a full functional HUD, and a up-front control panel, and that makes the transition to F5 to F-15 more easier in this aspect of flying. The most important difference is that you have more systems to control in the F-18. You have a full operative radar. You have a data link between the aircraft. We have a link 16 to communicate with another aircraft with ground control. And the flying course of the F-15 is to manage all the information of this aircraft, because learning how to fly this aircraft from the beginning is quite easy because of the flight control computers, and you only have to learn how these flight control computers behave when you make inputs in the stick and the throttle. But the most important thing that we learn in this course is how to manage all the information that we have in the F-18 Hornet.
So what model do the Spanish Air Force actually operate at the moment? Is it the A, B, C, D? Like, what do they operate?
We bought the Alpha version when these aircraft were built in 1986, I think. We bought this Alpha and Bravo version. Bravo is the twin seat version, and it suffered the midlife upgrade, and it becomes the Mach version. Mach version means that this aircraft has suffered the midlife upgrade. And this is the version that we have. We started with Alpha, but we didn't buy the Charlie version or so, or the Echo version that's like the Super Hornet. We only have Hornet version.
Yeah.
Hornet version.
All right, and Javier, we're going to have this conversation. How do you fare, like the F-18 against all the other NATO types, the F-16, the F-15?
Well, this because of these flying control computers, this aircraft is very very gentle in maneuvering in low speed and high speed. We can do a slow flying with high alpha with 90 knots or so.
90 knots.
90 knots,
wow.
Yes, 90
okay.
knots. With about 35 degrees of alpha or so,
yeah.
we make this slow flying. And I don't know, the F-16 and F-15, there are aircrafts that I love so much.
Mm-hmm.
The way of flying of this aircraft, maybe the F-16 could be the more likely the way of maneuvering of this aircraft like the Hornet.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference between of that, I think that this is the capacity of the Hornet to fly in low speeds and maneuver totally the aircraft in this range of speeds. That it is a characteristic that a few aircrafts have. I think.
Yeah, I think so. And why did you get directed to the Hornet and not the Typhoon?
Well, when we finished the fighter school academy, we are graded again. And when we finish the academy, we have the places for applying. When we finish the academy, these places change every year, and it depends of the needs of the headquarters.
Of course, yeah.
When we are graded, we choose in this scale the preference of these places. I loved the F-18 Hornet, and I wanted to become the F-18 Hornet, and I had the opportunity to go to 46 wing, and I have the luck to choose this wing to fly the F-18 Hornet.
I think if it was my choice, I would go Hornet over Typhoon any day. So
it's my choice and the possibility of the grade that we achieve in the fighter school academy. For example, you probably love to fly the Eurofighter, and for example, you had not achieved this note grade. Yeah. To apply for a place in the Eurofighter, but the Eurofighter is a plane that I would love to fly in the future. If the things change, probably could fly this airplane, because a single characteristic of the Hornet of the Canary Islands, it is that these Hornets are only alpha version, not a version, and these aircraft are quite old now, and it's expected in 1 or 2 years to change this aircraft, but we don't know if these aircraft are changed by the Mike version of the F-18 or by the Eurofighter.
Yeah. So Javier, can you tell us how the Spanish Air Force are getting involved with overseas operations and exercises at the moment?
The air bases of the Spanish Air Force, we have in Zaragoza, Torrejón, here in Las Palmas, there are F-18 wings, Hornet wings, and the Eurofighter wings are in Morón de la Frontera in Sevilla, in the south coast of the peninsula, and in Albacete, near in the center of the peninsula. There are 2 wings of the Eurofighter and 3 wings of the F-18 Hornet. We train in the spaces regulated that we call deltas here in Peninsula in Las Palmas. The biggest delta or the biggest space for train for practice air-to-air combat is here in Las Palmas.
Oh wow! Okay.
The Delta 79er is about it has a station about half of Europe or so.
Wow.
We have unrestricted supersonic flying, unrestricted drop of flares and chaff of our aircrafts, and the altitude that we fly is about 2,000 feet and unlimited. That makes the Delta 79er the perfect place for air-to-air training for all European and NATO countries. In fact, once a year. There is a international exercise here in Las Palmas called the ACTs, the Similar Combat Training.
Yeah.
And it depends of the year, the number of aircrafts that comes to train, it's more or less. But here we had F-18, F-16, A4. Skyhawk.
A4. Oh, yeah. Okay.
A4 Skyhawk to make the red part, the red band, the bad guys that we fight against. We had a lot of kinds of fighter aircraft here when we make this kind of exercise because of this extension of the working area that we have here.
So Javier, what's the strengths and weaknesses of the F-18 Hornet?
Yeah, I start by the weaknesses. For example, weaknesses of this aircraft is now the age of these aircrafts that have now is about 30, and we have Hornets here that have 40 years in fact. 40 years that we have Hornets here that participate in the Persian Gulf War, when these aircraft flew in the United States Marines. I think that's the principal weaknesses is the age, that because the aircraft are quite old in the structure of these aircraft here in Canary Island. It's more affected by the humidity and the sand, and the corrosion of the structure is very hard here, and the mechanics and the technicians here have to deal with it every day to make the structure safer for flying. And another weakness here for the Hornet in Canary Island, we don't have data link between us. We only TAC and air-to-air communication only, and it's a handicap in order to combat against with our partners in La Peninsula. Because we don't have this kind of system of communication. But in general, the Hornet in La Peninsula in Canary Island, the age, like I said before, and the structures that have suffered a lot of G's or maneuver, a lot of ages of maneuvering, and the structure is suffering a lot of because of these kind of maneuvers. The strength of this aircraft in comparison, in fact, with the Eurofighter, is the strength of the gear of this kind of airplane. That because the airplane was made to land in a carrier or to go off in a carrier, and had to have a strong landing gear. The hydraulic system of this aircraft is quite good. We have two main hydraulic systems, and each main hydraulic systems divides into two full subsystems of hydraulic. All these systems are there is a redundancy. I don't know if the English word of redundant. The whole systems work together, and there is a little probability of get a fail in the hydraulic systems because the duplication of the systems, these hydraulic systems. The flight control computers are quite good. These flight control computers are continuously upgraded. We don't have the midlife upgrade, but we have the upgrade of these flight control computers. It's like a operating system that we upload in this computer, and this flying software is developed for flying testers in Madrid, and when they achieve another characteristic or another improvement of the flying characteristics of the Hornet, put in the another upgrade in this flying computer, and that's all. This is quite good flying computers. We have 2 flying computers and 4 channels to connect all the flying control surfaces of this airplane. Trying with the NATO countries that work F-18, you mean? For example, I don't know if you know, we are in the Baltic air policing in
Baltic policy.
Yes, in Baltic air policing, and we are near from, for example, Finland, that they fly the F-18 Hornet. And a part of the real mission, we try to train with these countries that work or that operate the Hornet 2, and in order to get more confidence when we work with another country, to get a standardization of procedures of working and cooperate between the countries that operate the Hornet. But the single chances of practicing with another NATO countries of Hornet is in the international exercise, like here in the DACTs or Red Flag or Spring Flag. There are a lot of international exercise in these moments that is that moments that we take advantage of trying with another NATO countries that operate the F-18 Hornet. Well, the competition in the competition is in a I don't know how to say it. In a certain way, the competition is good in between us, because make us to work harder, practice harder, and fly and combat. For example, a combat between 2 aircrafts is a competition in which one pilot have to survive and one pilot have to die. And these situations put us in a easier way to become better fighter pilots. To sum up, these competitions, this competitiveness is good in a squadron, because we get better.
To wrap up, you are obviously you're a very lucky man, and as I said, like the Hornet's one of my favourite planes. But can I ask you some personal questions so our viewers can get an insight into yourself? Do you have any hobbies?
Mm-hmm. Yes, of course. I practice Taekwondo. It's a Korean martial art. In fact, this martial art put me, because of this martial art, I knew the discipline in this sport, and maybe this way of training makes me choose to join the Air Force when I apply for the Air Force Academy. I practiced Taekwondo since I was about 5 years old or so. I have to stop practicing Taekwondo when I joined the Air Force Academy because there are a lot of work to do inside there, and I had to stop practicing. And in fact, when I reached here in Canary Island, when I come to Canary Island, I have a little free time to start again with Taekwondo. It's another of my passions. We make a lot of competitions when I was younger, and I love this kind of sport because we learn a lot of things, a lot of mental control and physical control of your body, and I think that is an interesting sport to practice in this way of working.
So fighter pilot and martial arts expert, it's something to behold. Yes.
These hands know martial arts and fly and combat plane too.
Yeah, not bad. So, do you have a favorite aircraft?
My favorite aircraft, of course,
the Hornet, isn't it?
Of course, a fighter aircraft by the beginning. My favorite aircraft could be, in fact, the Hornet. But another favorite aircraft that I have could be the F-15 or the F-14 Tomcat.
Oh, yes.
It's a quite beautiful fighter plane. I love the F-4 Phantom.
Oh, yes.
Love the F-4 Phantom. It's the antecessor of the F-18 Hornet here in Spain. Mm-hmm. I love the shapes of this aircraft, the F-4 Phantom, and the new ones could be F-22.
F-22. I'm not sure about that one either.
The modern shapes of these aircraft could be beautiful, but with no doubt the favorite shapes and is the American ones, the old American ones that we have in the Hornet, the F-15, F-14. That we have same likes in these questions, I think.
So Javier, do you ever get tired of talking about aviation?
I never get tired talking about aviation. I love aviation. I love flying. This is my passion, talking about aviation. In fact, my girlfriend get bored a lot of time of getting. Yeah, it's very common in the people that we have this passion about the aviation. Mm-hmm. And yes, I can stop talking about aviation with my partners here, with my partners of the academy. It's a beautiful subject that we that have a lot of things that discuss or investigate or talking about. You know that it's a passion, an impressive word of this. Yes.
Well, Javier, I want to thank you a lot for being on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we wish you luck in your future flying career.
Yeah, you are welcome. I'm really thankful for this chance to talk about aviation.
Yes.
It's a really pleasure for me to talk about the Hornet, about the Spanish Air Force. It's a really pleasure to meet you, and I'm here for another thing that you need. In fact, if you make a visit here in Las Palmas, you are more than invited to know the 46 Wings and the Hornet here.
Oh wow! Whenever. Well, that's a privilege. Thank you very much, Javier.
You're welcome, Mike.
Thank you.